Good news, everyone. Lindsey Graham's mask finally came off. And I'm not talking about the kind of mask one might wear when paying escorts to call one Lady G. Remember how when the Democrats let the Republicans steal several Supreme Court picks by claiming you can't appoint a justice 6 months before an election, and how they then filled those seats with rabid theocrats, some of whom came on board weeks before an election? And remember how we all knew that those people were rabid theocrats, but they told Congress that Roe v. Wade was safe, established precedent upon precedent. And remember how then they overturned Roe v. Wade the first chance they got? And remember how then, after Americans were stripped of their federal right to access health care, Republicans reassured us that now it's up to the states. So if you believe that women have the right to their own bodies, you can just move to New York or California. And if you believe that women are mere vessels who should be forced against their will to carry a fetus to term, well, you can move to Florida or Texas. I mean, fuck the people who can't afford to move or simply don't want to for the many reasons why a person might prefer to live in a particular place that they live. But at least those of us lucky enough to live in blue states like California, we don't need to worry about our rights being impinged, right? They wouldn't lie about that, right? Like they lied about all the other things. They can't do that, right? They can't just lie about how much they value states' rights. They really mean it when they say things like the Civil War was fought over states' rights, not slavery. They wouldn't lie about that, would they?
Saying that the 2015 Supreme Court decision that made same-sex marriage the law of the land nationally should be overturned?
No, I am saying that I don't think it's going to be overturned.
Nor should it be?
Well, that'd be up to the court. The reasoning, I think, could be attacked, but the point I'm trying to make is I've been consistent. I think states should decide the issue of marriage and states should decide the issue of abortion.
No, Senator, there are so many Republicans who are pro-life, but there are also a lot of Republicans who believe in federalism and states' rights and on things like deciding their own laws on abortion.
Sure.
And this federal abortion ban would go against that.
This is not a states' rights issue. This is a human right issue.
Of course they would lie about that, you absolute nincompoop, you naive pudding brain. They lie about everything constantly. Until now, that is, when Lindsey Graham, a senior senator from South Carolina, stood before a terrifying cadre of smiling Stepford wives and officially introduced a bill that would ban abortion on the federal level after 15 weeks. This isn't completely against the idea of states' rights because it would actually leave in place the stricter measures put in place by conservative states. No, the only states that this would affect would be the liberal states, where we would now be forced to ban abortions against our will. So it's not so much a federal abortion ban so much as it is a Republicans forced people living in liberal states to adhere to their religious-based misogynistic ideas of women's autonomy bill. They're all about states' rights, so long as those states are doing what they want, which makes you think, gosh, I wonder what would have happened if they had won the Civil War. Would New York be allowed to outlaw slavery? Makes you think. Anyway, the fallout from Graham's announcement has been really fascinating to watch. We all knew that a federal abortion ban, not necessarily at 15 weeks, but a complete ban from the moment of fertilization, that was always the end goal of the religious fanatics who have infiltrated the U.S. government at every level. But the religious right has always been pretty good at hiding their intentions from people who are very credulous, distracting the discourse with nebulous ideas like viability and states' rights. So it's weird to see that successful tactic that's worked for them for decades just suddenly go out the window at what seems to be a particularly crucial time. The Supreme Court reversing Roe inspired a huge reaction in people who actually want women in this country to have fundamental rights. A Kaiser Family Foundation survey from this past summer found that among women between the ages of 18 and 49, there's been a 14 percentage point increase in the share who say abortion will be very important to their 2022 midterm vote. That went from 59% in February to 73% in July. In addition, 6 in 10 women voters between 18 and 49 now say they are more motivated to vote because of the Supreme Court's decision, up 19 percentage points from May, when the question was asked about a scenario in which Roe was overturned based on a leaked draft opinion. The vast majority, 88% of the more motivated group of women voters between 18 and 49 say they plan on voting for candidates who will protect access to abortions. Now, we all know polls are one thing and actual voter turnout is a whole other thing. We've seen it again and again. And up until the Supreme Court ruling, most political junkies seem to think that November is going to be absolutely disastrous for the Democrats' tenuous hold on both houses of Congress. But it sure seems like the right to an abortion is a pretty popular thing here in the U.S., and attacking that right directly and openly is maybe galvanizing people to vote out conservatives. Even many registered Republicans seem to be grossed out because they are suddenly realizing that the religious right's end goal would mean that even they can't just drive over a border for a quick abortion if they need one. Or, if their secret affair partner needs one, or their daughter, whoever. It's basically the only way to convince a Republican to do what's right. Make them realize that the bad policies will also affect them, not just the poors and the non-whites. So after Lindsey Graham said the quiet part out loud, a lot of his fellow conservatives are pissed, and it's very funny. Mitch McConnell has thrown a hissy fit. Charlie Kirk melted down so badly, I think his face shrunk 3 more sizes.
Why is Lindsey Graham 25 days out from ballots going out, galloping in and saying, we need a federal abortion ban? Really, where have you been, Lindsey Graham?
And even Fox News is yelling at Graham to his face, with all of them saying more or less the same thing. Yeah, we all want a national abortion ban, but we have to trick America into doing it. Like, at least wait until after the election to say you're going to do it. Now they're all scrambling to make this national abortion ban seem like it's not that big of a deal. And my favorite talking point is Republicans saying, look, we're just copying laws already in place in France and many other European countries. Graham's own press release for his ban opens with, the legislation would set a federal minimum protection for unborn children that is in line with European limits and ban abortion after 15 weeks gestation when unborn children can feel pain. So that's a lie, all of it, the pain thing, everything. But you knew that. I mean, would he really lie about that too? Yes, he lies about everything. In reality, many European countries do place limits on abortion, but not in the way that Graham has suggested. In France, for instance, a person can get an abortion for absolutely any reason up until 14 weeks gestation. But abortions aren't banned after that time. You can still get an abortion for reasons like carrying this fetus to term would negatively affect my physical or mental health. Also, compared to the United States, pregnant people in France are much more likely to be able to get an abortion by 14 weeks because France provides everyone with comprehensive health care. There's no need for women to start GoFundMe campaigns or figure out complicated travel plans to go to other states, complete with hotel stays for several days, just to comply with their local abortion restrictions. Is France's law perfect? Hell no. Activists there have been pushing hard for change. And even this year, they were able to extend that no questions asked limit from 12 to 14 weeks, plus increase access to medication abortions via telehealth appointments. So now patients don't even have to go into a medical facility. And while there are plenty of reasons why someone can still access an abortion after 14 weeks, Now it's probably time for France to introduce legislation that will bring it in line with countries that have much safer laws, like the Netherlands, where abortion is legal for absolutely any reason up to 24 weeks. I can't get over the fact that Republicans are now scrambling to convince the American public that actually they're not completely bonkers because they just want to be like European healthcare. You know, those healthcare systems that they've spent the past several decades branding as socialism or communism or Stalinism or whatever ism is going to scare their voter base the most. So, yeah, they're lying about lots of things, but the one true thing here is that no matter what, Republicans are coming for your bodily autonomy, whether you live in Brownsville, Texas, or the Upper East Side. Graham's bill is not going to see the light of day now with Congress the way it is. But if the Democrats do lose in November, you can be sure that you will see either this bill or something much worse. And then you're going to see another bill regarding same-sex marriage. And maybe creationism being taught in schools, maybe outlawing birth control. They're going to challenge legal elections. They're going to gerrymander blue counties to steal elections. They're going to bury democracy and then put a cross on the grave and then make you pray to it. So, you know, keep this in mind as ballots start appearing in mailboxes in the next few weeks. Vote these fuckers out if you still can.